Facebook? You good, Facebook? You playing with me? What's up, world? What's up, world? Karmic Days 85. Here by myself tonight. Gonna be bringing y'all a little bit of current events. We'll touching on some current events. Also gonna be focusing on flaws and some of the flaws I have, of course, and some of the flaws you may have. If I catch you in the chat here. Today is February 12th. This month is moving really fast. This year is moving really fast in general. You got Valentine's Day. What's up, Ash? We got Valentine's Day gonna be on Friday? So a couple days away. Hope y'all got y'all stuff together, made your plans and whatnot. Still don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna figure that out as we go along here. Let's see, current events wise. Oh, yep, Karmic Day is also, y'all know me, y'all see me on Facebook here. You can also find me on YouTube now. I'm going to start going live there. This thing always seems with the slow connection. Don't know why. But I'm going to be going live on YouTube more for my Lawn Warrior stuff. But you can find like my sketches. You can find my sketches there, some of my music there. You can also find, of course, the podcast there as well on audio and video. So, trying to expand in those areas. Current events wise, I know a lot of people out there still upset at Trump and Elon Musk. They are doing things. They're making moves. That is one thing I can say, that they are actually doing something, as opposed to talking about what needs to be done or what can we do or who needs to do it and whose responsibility it is and all that. They're doing something. A lot of stuff did get pushed back, though, for y'all that don't know. I know, like, the Social Security stuff got pushed back. They're fighting back against that. They're fighting back against the birthright citizenship. So a lot of things that people are concerned about. There are other checks and balances, typically the judicial branch, that is putting up a resistance to those executive orders. He did get the Gulf of America approved, though. That went through, so it's now on Google anyway. It's the Gulf of America. I don't think Apple has made that move yet. I know the Mexican president said that she's not going to do that. It's always been known as the Gulf of Mexico, and they're going to continue to call it the Gulf of Mexico. I think other world leaders at this point either haven't spoken on it or said they're going to stick with the Gulf of Mexico. So it's the same thing if you're from this area, Killeen, Fort Hood area. Same thing here. We don't call it Fort Cavazos. We call it Fort Hood, just like I know people call Fort Lee, still Fort Lee, Fort Bragg, still Fort Bragg, all of that. So it's just what it is, just the nature of the beast. The biggest controversy I saw over the weekend, though, had my Facebook, everybody on the Facebook going back and forth. I know you've seen Ash. This is the Kendrick Lamar halftime show. The Kendrick Lamar halftime show. Do I have any commentary on the Kendrick Lamar halftime show? Surprisingly, no. I really don't. I don't have an opinion either way of the halftime show. I didn't watch the game like that, so and I think I was in the shower when the actual performance is going on live, so I had to go back and watch it later on. What's up, Mike? What's up, Mike? Welcome. I said both of those twice. It's just my thing. I'm talking about the halftime show right now, and y'all can feel free to comment as well. But I didn't feel any way towards it. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of the symbolism and the artistry of it. The points and messages he was getting across. But as far as did the show itself move me? A little bit. Because I know some of the songs, and I think he played about half the songs that I told people he'd play. Because he does have, I think he has a better catalog for that venue than Lil Wayne does. As for, some people are upset about the I've seen posts, screenshots. People are upset about we holler about diversity and inclusion, and there wasn't any white dancers. And again, I don't have a lot of commentary there. I saw one response. It was from a Twitter post, I guess. They responded saying it's based off of merit now. So apparently there wasn't any good dancers other than what was presented. Again, that's why I didn't want to I don't want to touch that. I know that's what we do here on the Want to Talk About It podcast, but I think that particularly has too many layers that I'd like to break down individually. I will say that being a group of people who have gone through oppression, power usurpation, resource acquisition, all of that, to see those same underpinnings and yearnings and such, and that same group that went through the oppression, it really concerns me because the pendulum swings once it reaches extremes. So that's just one thing. I'll probably come back, probably get the group together. We'll talk about that later on. But I think I've touched on it a few times. It's touched on what that's the whole I Ching. If you ever heard of that book, Chinese book of changes. And one of the things that it kind of stresses is when things reach the extremes, they tend to swing back to the opposite direction. Hopefully not the opposite extreme, but that's typically how it goes. So a lot of those people out there, that want power and want to be in the position to where they feel that they have the power that was used against them, I would say be careful, be very wary of that power. Power doesn't corrupt. What's the phrase? Something to the effect of power doesn't corrupt, but it corrupts absolutely, something like that. So just be careful of what you wish for. I did see also Serena Williams is taking a lot of flack for her sea walk, her crip walk. Again, the only thing I can say about that is where have you been? Like, out of nowhere, you're on stage with Kendrick Lamar. I guess the Compton connection. But again, that I don't have a lot of commentary on that right now. Let's see. But the main topic tonight is flaws and all, and I'd like to. Again, we talk about it here. So I have actually opened up a lot on the podcast, and I don't feel any way about it. I feel good. It feels good actually. So some of the flaws I do have, I guess that would be part of one of the flaws that I do have. I know a lot of people have this flaw, being too inside of yourself. Self-conscious, I think, is the correct phrase on that. And studies say that being highly self-conscious leads to low self-esteem. So your self-esteem, like Cat Williams said, if you ever watched that, it's yourself. It's what you think of yourself. So if you're constantly focusing on yourself, it's kind of like those who are perfectionists. They never get the right thing. It never comes out just right. So if you're constantly focusing on yourself, you're never content with yourself, if that makes any sense, right? That's where the self-esteem comes in. Stop focusing on yourself. Am I wearing my shirt right? Am I wearing my shoes right? For women, is it my makeup, my eyelashes, my nails? For guys, it's my shoes, my shirt, or my chain. Like, none of that. Like, just be a human at the end of the day. All right? You can think about it, let it go. Don't hold on to it. Right? Another flaw. Let's see. Also, you got to reflect on these things. That's why I'm able to. I've actually went on a journey and started to kind of find my flaws, pick one, work on it, get a nice little pattern going, and work on the next one. So when I started doing that, one of the flaws that I did find that I had, which affected my job relationships, affected my love life, and affected my my arts and crafts and whatnot. Even this, like the podcast, I didn't follow through. I had a very hard problem with follow through in finishing things. And once I started to see that, I think I was in my room one day and started looking at all the stuff that I started, didn't finish. There's a lot of music. Like, y'all, what's up, Brendan? What's up, bro? We got to catch up on that. We got to get that episode in, man. But if y'all gone to my YouTube page and heard some of my music, there are some that are unfinished, and there's a lot that are just beats. A lot that I have beats and lyrics to that I just haven't combined them. And I've started again. I started to look at that stuff. I'm like, I didn't finish any of these. I started them and just started another project. So I went on I made a concerted effort to start finishing things. And if I didn't like how it came out, I just wanted to make a habit of finishing things that I started. And I would say for the most part, it's worked out better. I mean, I'm here. I'm working on like 120 videos on my YouTube page right now. It's music, the podcast, all of that, right? Still got some paintings to finish. I finished some candles this weekend. I got lighting equipment. So actually following through on things and getting those things done is actually a really good feeling. And I try to get that from my nephews and my daughters too. I want them to be able to learn what it's like to finish and complete a task before engulfing themselves in the next task. Part and parcel of me not finishing anything like that would be my issues with procrastination. I guess I developed that from days being in school. My lighters are fucking up. Hold on. Oh man, grabbed the wrong lighter. But yeah, from my days in school, because I don't want to say like I'm like a genius or nothing, but I got in the habit of reading ahead in the chapters in school. So by the time everybody else caught up, I'm like 3-4 chapters ahead of where everybody else is at. So I'm waiting on them to catch up, right? Except for like math. Math was a little bit more difficult because I'd run into a formula. No, I need somebody to break this down for me. But typically anything else, yeah, I'm ahead. So that gave me in my mind, the opportunity to sleep in class. Yeah, I slept through 4 years of high school. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. But I still passed with like a 3.14 GPA. I still remember that. So if I had applied myself and actually, attempted to finish things and not procrastinate, I probably would have got a 4.0 GPA. Yeah, didn't, and life lessons. That procrastination did carry on into college, to the point where I got injured and a lot of things life got crazy, so I had to stop college for a little while. And then again, part of that finishing process, got back. And this time I decided to switch my degree plan. I went initially for computer electronics. So Brendan, remember me, you talk about the electronics or electricity, well, the electric universe, put it that way. So that's why I know I'm able to keep up with you there. So yeah, I did that, and then started to realize computers build computers. And I'd always had an interest in psychology. So what's up, Brian? Man, I ain't seen you. Man, what's up, bro? You good? Well, yeah, I decided to do psychology because I've always had an interest in the mind and how people work and how people operate, even how I work and operate. So it was just a natural transition for me. And there are a lot of similarities, believe it or not. A lot of people don't know that there's a lot of similarities in between how psychology and electronics. So there's that. It was, again, natural transition. So those are some of my flaws there. Let's see what else I have. I don't know how to explain it. Like my mom said, I've always marched to my own drum. I've always heard that like I'm in my own head. I live in my own world type thing. I guess that would be a flaw sometimes, because I realized I did spend a lot of time in my head, right? Not necessarily self-consciously, but in my head just thinking about things, processing things, analyzing things. And the thing about that, you do that long enough, you don't make a move. It paralyzes you. So when I realized that, I started to actually act on things, right? And I see that I don't know if it's like a unique ability, but I have this ability to analyze something and then make a move on it. And I have both of those now. For any of y'all that do astrology, I know you do, Brendan. My sun sign is a Libra. My rising sign is Aries. So that's where that comes from. Once I've in my, let's say, so now these two things, for you astrologists, people that do astrology out there, it's gonna make sense to you. So my moon sign is Sagittarius, and my Mercury is a Scorpio. So Mercury in Scorpio deals with like secret stuff, the occult stuff that's behind the veil. So that actually again works perfectly with my temperament personality. You know, the analytical Libra looking behind the veil. Once they figured out how things are kind of operating, now it's time to use that Aries to make a move, right? Aries, the god of war, right? God of action. Fucking lighters. So I dabble in astrology too, a little bit there. I don't do like readings or anything. Haven't really gotten to that, but I can interpret things that I see in like natal charts, birth dates, and things of that nature. Little knickknacks here and there. What else? I don't ask for help. No, as a man, a lot of times they tell us, suck it up, figure it out, and I took that to heart. And once I got my first family, my family, I realized I would be excluding them sometimes when I didn't ask for help, and it looked like I needed help. So that's one thing I had to learn. Learn to be accepting of help. That was a real hard one. Still a real hard one. Not gonna lie to y'all. I always think there's a motive behind it. We all have that something in our head that tells us, well, why is this person helping me? Or on the flip side, this person should be helping me. And I had that issue too. It's like, this person should help me, or this person should do this for me. I've done this for them, and so I had to learn that nobody owes you anything. Nobody's obliged to you for anything. Not your brother, your sister, parents, wife, grandparents, dog, cat. Nobody or nothing in this world is obliged to you. So with that knowledge, it's just like sometimes you gotta take it as it comes. There was one thing I learned. One thing I took to heart is that a snake is gonna be a snake. So do you hate the snake for being a snake, or do you just realize or recognize the snake for what it is a snake? Because the snake inherently isn't bad. It's how you use the snake that can be good or bad, right? And that right there, being able to switch and flip your mind state to a particular situation. Sometimes it's better to see the good in a negative situation as opposed to the situation just for being negative the way it is. Again, life ebbs and flows. Typically once one extreme is met, the pendulum swings back toward the next extreme. So if you're typically facing a really bad situation, trust. It's going to be a good situation on the other end of that situation. As for the timing of that, I can't tell you the timing on that. Don't think anyone can tell you the timing on that. It's just something you got to live through. All part of all that. It's part of the beauty and the joy, the ups and downs of this thing we call life. The poetry, they call it, the poetry of life. One of the things I ask myself, because I do a lot of reflection, again, I'm a mental guy, stay in my head. It's like, would you rather be alive to experience all this, or be dead and experience nothing? And when I got to looking at it like that, I realized, this pain, at least I feel, right? As opposed to not feeling nothing. And that's coming from a guy who apparently flatlined a few times. So, yeah. I was just talking to my brother about that the other day, actually. When I did flatline, it's not a memory per se, but it's more like if anybody that's ever had like a near death experience, it's not like a memory. It's just like it's the experience. Just again, that phrase is something that is. So for me, it was dark, it was cold, and it was there. I can't say it was heaven, hell, angels, none of that. Just complete darkness. Like, I know I'm there, but as far as like anything else, no. And that experience is new for me, because typically when I have like anesthesia, they put me under or whatever, I have an out of body experience. I can see them working on me and all that. Didn't have that this last time. Nothing close to it, actually. So yeah, when I came out of that experience, I had like a new appreciation of this thing we call life. Had a new appreciation of my body. You don't know what you have till it's gone, is what they say. I almost didn't think I was gonna have my leg there for a little while. So you just you start to appreciate smaller things. And I've always been a guy to appreciate small things. Like, I like new seasonings. I get excited for buying new seasonings at the store. Like small things, but yeah. Again, with all of that, at the end of the day, we have got to reflect on our flaws and try to weed them out. I mean, we got nothing but time here. We might as well do something useful. Something we can pass down and teach. That is, hits in here. We don't have a lot of that these days. Everything's all external. I was watching a YouTube the other day, and the guy said, there's no manual for being human. I got to think about that. Like, it's an obvious, it's a small statement, but it also hit me deep, because there is no manual per se for how to be a person. It's just something you gotta live through. But with that being said, short episode for y'all tonight. Thank y'all for joining. Appreciate y'all for joining again. The episodes are loaded up on YouTube, so any episode that you've missed, any topic that you've missed and want to hear, I guess, a different angle of the discussion, we have those episodes loaded up on Spotify, and they're loading up on YouTube as we speak, slowly but surely. What's up, Brian? Man, you always seem to catch the end, man. God. But I do hope you're able to catch the episodes as they play through the Facebook feed, or even on the YouTube, or if you just get to listen on Spotify. Either way, but I'm gonna have to get you on an episode, man. I'm gonna have to get you an episode, whether it's an interview or we would just sit down and talk, whatever. We've got to hook that up, man. But again, thank y'all. Please subscribe, share, comment, like, join the conversation. Let's talk about it. All right, that's it for me tonight. Y'all dominate your night, dominate your day. Have a good one.